are listening to Crossplay, our video game podcast here at the Whatnauts.com. It is Saturday, May 16th, 2020, and you are listening to episode 26. Coming up on today's show, we are going to be talking about the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay trailer, and how live streaming platforms are growing, but Mixer seems to be dead. All that and more in just a sec. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by my friend Ignacio.
Is it me, or was that just the same intro?
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, except at the start, I used to say, where we get together and talk about all the video game goodness we can handle each and every week right here, blah, blah, blah. I just thought it was a little too lengthy.
Yeah, so before we started, you said, hey, is it okay if I shorten the intro? It's just going to say this, and then we'll just get right into it. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And it's just the same intro.
It's just that, like, one sentence. I was like, do we really need all of that? We can just say we're a video game podcast, and they know what.
Let me take out this one sentence there.
Yeah. So, we're here to talk about some video games. But first, Ignacio, how has your week been?
I mean, it's been both the same old, but now we just got our quarantine back. Let me rephrase it. We're going back again into quarantine. The whole
yeah. Interesting.
This time it's the whole city going back into quarantine. Before it was just certain sectors of the city would be in quarantine or go out of quarantine. But yeah, they just realized that it hasn't been working. The fact of some places not being in quarantine. I mean, I wouldn't call it a spike, but it has been steadily going up.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just decided, fuck it. The whole city now is under quarantine.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting stuff like that to happen here in the United States. I think I saw something on Twitter right before we recorded that Texas recorded like a record number of new cases or something since they started opening things back up. So that's what we get.
So because of that,
I to open things up prematurely.
Yep, super prematurely in cases of some cities in the US. But yeah, because of that, I have been having to go out more often, say for the supermarket, buy stuff that we would need, or buying stuff for my grandparents, or I had to go get a haircut. This time I was prepared to get a haircut. Last time I went several months without a haircut because of the quarantine. Mm-hmm. Because the last time I got my haircut was in San Francisco, and then when everything was starting, that's when I felt like I should get a haircut. But I thought I'd rather wait and go back home because I just like there's a chance of something happening back home that right here if I get a haircut. But then I got here, and
you had Ignacio the caveman for the past couple
it wasn't
months.
That bad.
Now we have Ignacio the smooth and suave.
Yeah. So when I got back, I just had to go back into quarantine for 2 weeks, and then they announced that my whole area was going into quarantine. So I went without a haircut for several months. So now that I was able to go out, I decided, hey, I'd better do it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's been my week.
I happened to also just get my haircut. I got my haircut yesterday. Mm-hmm. Today's Saturday, so I got it done yesterday. I lucked out though. My roommate is a barber, so he just had all his stuff back there. So I'm super lucky at stuff. But Ignacio, I am halfway there. I am almost a real gamer.
Oh, how are you still halfway there?
I'm still halfway there. I've finally gotten my gaming chair.
Ah, okay.
So
I thought you were talking about it. I thought you were talking about Resident Evil. I'm like, how are you still halfway through the game?
no, we'll talk about that in a sec. But
okay, so your chair.
I got my new chair.
Mhm.
It is super comfy. It's a chair from Corsair, the
Yeah.
company. On top of that, I'm still working on building a new PC. I'm buying up all the parts. I'm almost done with that. I've had a bunch of the parts already come in, including a new mouse pad, a new mouse, a new keyboard, etc. But I've already plugged in all of the keyboard and mouse stuff, so I'm using it right now. And my keyboard, mouse, and mouse pad all light up with like RGB lights. It's really cool, and I'm a sucker for things like that. Oh, I'm having fun. It looks sweet. But let's actually get to the video games this time. I've still been playing Resident Evil 2. I'm finally at the laboratory. I'm like right at the end.
So and this is still your first playthrough, right?
Yes, still first playthrough on Leon.
How is it that you can like play for hours and hours on other games, but this game that should take you 3 sittings maybe still haven't beaten one campaign?
I'm taking it slow. I'm just taking my time. But yeah, so I'm right at the laboratory. I got to there and then saved at the reception desk, and that's all I've done. So I don't really have much else to add with that. I'm still enjoying it, but it's still just like, well, I also don't like horror stuff, so I'm fine if I don't keep playing it.
How do you think that the game has kept the horror outside of the police station?
So far it hasn't been that bad. There's that section where you play as Ada and Mr. X comes back, and I was like, I thought he was dead. Come on.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I still have to deal with him. But then
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, X gonna give it to me, that's for sure. I know in the laboratory you start to kind of discover. Well, there was those mutated monsters in the sewers and stuff like that. Those were kind of new, but they were just modeled after that one boss. That wasn't that bad. And then I know in the laboratory there's supposedly like a new type of zombie, like a floral zombie. That's at least what the walk through.
Yes, right. Yeah. I forgot about them.
Burn them.
Yeah.
So we'll see, because I've not gotten to them yet.
So why are you using a walkthrough? Doesn't that be the playing the game, discovering stuff?
No, it's helping me because again, I don't like horror stuff. I kind of don't want to be surprised. You know, it's like, okay, I need to go into that room, go get this thing, and then run back here. So do that one thing, and then it's fine. And it'll be like, okay, you walk down this hallway, there's gonna be a liquor, that way, or there's gonna be something there. So be ready for those things. And I'm like, okay, that helps. At least I know what to expect.
See, that just beats the purpose of the game.
It's arguable, yeah, but this is not a game that I would have played normally. So it's just like I'm gonna make it through somehow, some way, on my own.
And still, using a playthrough, you still haven't beaten the game.
Not yet. Taking it slow.
God.
What about you, though?
It's like you finish a room and then you're like, okay, that's it for tonight.
Basically.
You kill one zombie. That's good enough.
It's like,
I can
okay,
motivate
I did
later.
it. I survived one night.
God.
What about you, though? What have you been playing?
The same old stuff. I've still been playing Predator Hunting Grounds. That's still as fun as before. Still has a problem that it's difficult to find people to play with. So
Have
yeah,
have they been talking about that on Twitter?
yeah. But the thing is, I don't know if I'm guessing it's because of the general area I am. Because since it's an online game, they have to pair you with people
Right.
on your region. So I'm guessing if I were, say, in the US, I probably wouldn't have this problem. I don't know, though, to
Gotcha.
be fair. Yeah.
That
So
sucks.
it probably has to do with that. So yeah, whenever I play, I know that it has to be when I have the time to actually just leave it there looking for a match. Like if I don't have much time to play, I'm not gonna play Predator because I don't want to just sit there waiting for a room. I have to do it when I have more time, especially since if I enjoy playing as a Predator, so I'm usually just selecting the playing as a Predator option. So that means just sitting there waiting for like 10 minutes for a room.
I gotcha.
Yeah. But whenever I get to play, it's still so much fun. That cat and mouse game of finding all these soldiers, figuring out how to take them down one by one. And yeah, it's still fun. I still will keep playing it.
Good stuff.
The other one I've still been playing is Final Fantasy VII, the original. I would say I'm about halfway through the game right now, which is so much further than I thought I would get into an old school Final Fantasy game.
There you go.
Like RPGs aren't my thing at all. So I'm surprised that I made it at least halfway through. I still want to keep playing more. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying how I get more context about what I saw on remake. More context for the people's motivations, or hey, this is the backstory about what you saw there, or this is actually what happened when they told you that something happened. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying that.
Okay.
And I think it helps taking advantage of the like gameplay additions they put into the game, like speeding things up or basically God mode.
Right.
I've been using those, so I think that helps more because I've been avoiding random encounters.
Gotcha.
Because the game just gives you the option of turning that off.
So let me ask you this, because I know they have those options in there where you can turn off random encounters and you can basically make it so your like limit break thing is constantly up.
Yeah.
How does that work exactly for boss fights? Because I feel like you would still be under leveled.
Yeah, it's under level, but so long as the boss doesn't kill you in just one blow, it's not a problem because you're still vulnerable. It's just that what the God mode does is that whenever you lose health, you then after that will recover health, and also your limit break just keeps getting charged constantly.
Right.
So that's what it does. What it doesn't do is that it doesn't revive your dead teammates or your dead characters. So yeah, that's kind of like one of the downsides of playing with God mode, and especially playing without random encounters, is that you won't level up to the level that you should be.
Interesting.
So yeah, you run the risk of, if you just simply go without running encounters, you will end up being so under level that the boss will kill you in one attack. And because we had Corey the other day here, and he talked about how he wasn't able to finish the last boss because of being under level and because of using God mode and basically doing the same as I've been doing. He mentioned that Yeah. Hey, I feel bad because of it in a way. That's why I once in a while I just turn on random encounters and just let it happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I guess it kind of forces you to like, okay, today is only gonna be about leveling up, and I'm just
mhm.
gonna turn on random encounters and run around in circles.
Yeah. So, like I said, we had Corey, and he mentioned that he wasn't able to finish the last boss because of being underleveled.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned that he wished he had more Phoenix Downs, which is the item that lets you revive characters.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been doing is that I've been spending most of my money buying Phoenix Downs whenever I get the option.
Gotcha.
I don't buy I don't buy many things else other than that. And I haven't used one, so I'm just piling them up. But yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm enjoying the game, and I think as someone who doesn't enjoy RPGs, especially or old school JRPGs much,
Mm-hmm.
I think it does help being able to skip everything, every random encounters, and speed up the game speed. It does help a lot to just get the story, because that's what I want at the end of the day.
Cool.
And speaking of RPGs, the other game I started was I picked back up AC Origins. Assassin's Creed
Oh,
Origins. Yeah,
okay.
I picked it back up. So I mentioned before that I had played some of AC Origins before,
Right.
but because of the RPG nature of the game, I ended up just dropping it because I got to the point that, first of all, it wasn't Assassin's Creed to me
Mm-hmm.
because the other games weren't like that. You would just play through it. But now AC Origins introduced leveling up, and with that, it brings also the concept of being underleveled for
Right.
certain missions and certain bosses. So that ended up dissuading me, and I ended up dropping it. So I, for whatever reason, got the like. I wanted to start playing it again. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
give it another try, and I feel like this time, at least, I can go back to it with another set of eyes, with another expectation. Like, I'm not expecting it to be the Assassin's Creed game,
Right.
an Assassin's Creed game like the ones that came before. I'm just taking it as it is, an RPG. And right now,
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying playing it. Haven't played much of the story, to be fair. I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of side quests so that I don't end up with the situation of being under leveled for something. But yeah, I'm still going through it.
Okay. That sounds
Yeah.
good. That sounds fun.
My one complaint though with the story is that I feel like the story just drops you in the middle of something. Like, I started playing it, and you were already Bayek on a revenge mission, and you already had your targets. He knew as a character what to do, and I felt like they just threw you in without telling you much. To the point that when I started it, I thought that, hey, maybe it didn't restart the game fully. Maybe there should
Okay.
have been something before this.
I I kind of don't remember it like that exactly. I know he was the Medjai, like he was the like mercenary police person thing. Like, hey, I'm here to help out, and do all of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. But uh, well, it seemed like he had a mission, like he had a purpose, but we didn't
Yeah.
know exactly what it was. And then it's
Well,
through all the flashbacks and stuff that we see. It's like, oh, like his kid died and was murdered. And now he's after those people, which I remember that part kind of coming, like finalizing, or at least being like, okay, that makes sense now. 6 to 10 hours in,
mm,
something like that.
yeah.
I might be wrong. It's been a long time since I played.
Well, because I had already played through all that, I remember that there was this story bit that he was with his son, and he accidentally killed him because of this group of people that wanted something of him, and then he went on a revenge mission. So knowing all that and going back to the start, it just confused me because I feel like I started with the revenge mission, and it was so weird. Just like, and the game didn't tell you much of why or who are these people, and it wasn't until like 1 or 2 hours later that the game, for the first time, lets you out of the animus, and you get to meet Lila.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's my only complaint so far.
I ended up really liking that story. That one, despite the gameplay being more RPG stuff, I really loved the story of that one.
Yeah, I mean, so far I don't think I haven't gotten much of the story yet. Like at most I got out of the or starting city or town where you meet your old friend, and then you meet another friend that I don't feel adds much to the overall story. So I still don't feel like I've experienced much of the story to say if I like it or not in that sense.
You'll get there.
Hopefully. I mean, people keep talking about how good AC Origin was, and especially the story and how it tied back to the Assassins.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let's move on to a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. All sorts of stuff for you guys to check out. You guys can find more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com. And if you like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. You guys can get episodes early. You guys can get some exclusive content, all sorts of stuff like that. Also like to give a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, for helping us out and keeping the mics on. We appreciate it tons.
Sam's the true goat here. It's great.
Indeed. Speaking of exclusive content, Melissa and I are working on some exclusive content for one of our other podcasts, the Reactor Core, which we've kind of let go dormant for a little while, so we're hoping to bring that back very soon. I think we're going to be watching the new movie, the Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think we're going to be watching that.
I watched it last night.
Oh, nice. Well, I think if you're free next Thursday, I don't know what your schedule is like, but we're going to be recording a spoiler cast.
I should, because next Thursday is what do you call it? What did I forget the word? Holiday.
Holiday for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday. Yeah, so I could probably do that.
Okay, well, I will keep you in the loop, because I think we're going to be watching that in the next couple days here, and then recording a spoiler cast on that. That's where we'll also be like, hey, we now are working on some exclusive content for the Reactor Core. But it's good. It's fun. Be on the lookout. That is housekeeping. Ignacio, let's get on to the news of the week.
Let's go.
Okay. Number 1 on our list. Let's talk about that Unreal Engine 5 tech demo.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So there's kind of a big, long, explanatory thing you guys can find on unrealengine.com. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it was pretty lengthy and goes into a bunch of details and terminology that I think is just gonna make people's I don't know what that is. But who cares? So let's get down to the nitty gritty. The one thing, the two things or the three things that I do want to mention though is that the demo previewed two new core technologies that will debut in Unreal Engine 5. The first of which is Nanite, which is a visualized micropolygon geometry, which frees artists to create as much geometric detail as the eye can see. The second of which is called Lumen, and is a fully dynamic global illumination solution that immediately reacts to scene and light changes. So even that stuff is kind of like, I don't even know what that means. But it sounds like ultimately what they're trying to do is make the graphics as realistic as possible. Something that you would see in like Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
Like
basically it's that it will look more realistic. Even during the presentation that they mentioned how they will start approaching more into the photorealistic aspect.
Yeah, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I know. It looked gorgeous. I got to watch it on 4K, and that looked
nice.
so beautiful.
Yeah, I think I was watching the Kind of Funny reaction stream that they were doing. I mean, it looked good on that, but that was still compressed and all of that stuff. Yeah, go check this out. It's a pretty short demo. It looked beautiful, and I know they weren't showing off a game. Damn, did that not look like a new Tomb Raider or like a Princess of Persia? Something like, I want to play that. That looked so much fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they took the concept of the tech demo and turned it into something, because it did feel like they at least have like created something, like a concept at least for the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took that concept and just expanded on it.
At least give me that like flying section. That looked fun.
Yeah, and what's interesting about it is that, so it later came out that the tech demo was supposed to be playable during GDC. And that's so wild that people would have been able to play a PS5 game, a truly next gaming game.
Well, and again, not game exactly, but just like,
yeah, I mean, if you can play it, let's call it a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks so pretty. And so Nanite and Lumen, what it sounds like is that Lumen will be the usual, make colors more realistic. But then Nanite, what's interesting about it is that Andy Cortez from Kind of Funny mentioned how it now what artists what artists have to do right now is that they have to create a high poly, like say they create an object, they have to create it in high poly and low poly for one game. What he mentioned was that with this now they won't have to create a second poly version. They will just create the one, because Nanite will be able to process all of it.
Yeah, that saves so much time.
So yeah, it is interesting how they are innovating technology to make things easier, not only prettier but even easier.
Yeah,
because now that as things get prettier, they also get more complex, which also means more work. So it's nice that at least this would offset that.
Right. Exactly. I think that's exciting. But then they mentioned the release date of Unreal Engine 5, and they said that it will be available in preview in early 2021 and in full release in late 2021. And it will support next-gen consoles, current-gen consoles, PC, Mac, iOS, and Android. And they did also mention that Fortnite will be moved to Unreal Engine 5 mid 2021.
Yeah, it sucks that we'll still have to wait for what we just saw to be actually real. Like, if it comes out 2021, you have to guess that third parties will have to wait until 2021 to actually start creating something with Unreal Engine 5. So it will still be ways away.
Yeah, so that like 2023 at the earliest, maybe something like that is when we'll start seeing some big stuff there. But then, like, as another news section thing coming out of Unreal Engine 5, Epic announced that they are waiving the royalty fee for Unreal Engine games on their first $1 million. And a lot of developers were freaking out about this because this is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Epic, because of the success of Fortnite, Epic now has this. Now they can just do things that will, in the end, cost them. But because of the success of Fortnite, they still have this huge pile of money so that doing something like this won't affect them.
They'll make it up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fantastic, and that's not only for Unreal Engine 5. I think that's for the current stuff too. So could be wrong on that, but that's what it made it sound like. Because in the thing they did not specify that it had to be on Unreal Engine 5 to do all of that stuff. But who knows?
Yeah, it's so weird how Fortnite is financing so many things. Like, Fortnite is making this happen. Fortnite is also helping the fact that the Epic Store has a better money split with developers. It's so funny.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff, but it's cool. Video games are cool.
Yeah, they are.
Speaking of cool video games, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima. We got a brand new Sony State of Play this past week, which revealed a lot of gameplay for Ghost of Tsushima. So I pulled a couple bullet points from an article, a wrap-up that Jonathan Dornbush published on IGN. The first thing that I wanted to point out was the guiding wind. All of this stuff. What do you think of this, Ignacio? Because so many games, especially like the Assassin's Creed or like the Ubisoft open world style game, there's just icons and all sorts of things. There's question marks and all of that stuff just riddled on your map or on screen. And I think it was like a month or so ago, maybe, news came out that Ghost of Tsushima wasn't going to be doing that. It was going to be more contextual. Some people were like, I don't know how I feel about that. But then, in this State of Play, they mentioned the guiding wind. That kind of whenever you wanted, you could almost kind of summon this gust of wind that will blow in the direction that you need to go.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's cool, especially it fits a lot with the aesthetic of the game and the general setting of the game to have the guiding wind. And it's not only wind it's not that only that they implemented into waypointing. They also added what they show was that even animals will show you the way.
Yeah.
And that was so cool.
That's
such a cool concept.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's such a cool concept.
They have like boxes that will show you where I don't know what to call them, like a little temple or
shrine or anything of interest. They showed a bird flying next to you and showing you the way towards something of interest.
Yeah,
and that was so cool. I think it's such an innovative way. Like you don't see others doing something like this. But yeah, I mean, what I wonder is that, especially with the wind mechanic, how reliable will it be, and will it always be helping, or will it get to the point that the wind is just not helping at all? I just wonder.
Yeah.
Now, like blowing you right into a mountain or a rock. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they've probably gotten it to a point where it's pointing you in the direction of like your main mission, right? It's just a compass, and then they'll use the like birds and foxes to show you where all the side missions are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not pointing you towards the rock was what I meant. What I meant is like, how will you sometimes not be able to really tell where it's pointing you at? That's my real question.
Well,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, because it's still wind.
It's wind. So they also announced that this is getting a photo mode. And I bring that up to say that in that photo mode, it has options for particle effects and stuff. Do you want this type of leaves falling in the background and stuff like that? And when they showed the guiding wind feature, it looked like a similar thing where there were leaves and stuff that were blowing in the wind. Like, if you go that way, the same direction as these leaves blowing in the wind, who knows? But we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see.
I think that's a really cool concept, though, so I cannot wait to see how that works out. But they also showed some of the combat we've kind of seen a little bit of before.
Yeah.
But they said there's like the samurai style play, which is more of like you have different sword stances.
Yeah, that was cool. It reminded me of Neo, which I think also has different stances.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool how they doing that.
Or like the Yakuza games where you have different stances.
Yeah, I mean
certain powers and
not quite like that. I would say more like, I don't think it will make you necessarily fight differently. Like, I mean, in Yakuza, you would have the, I don't know, fast style, the regular style, the brute style. I don't think it would necessarily be like that. I do think it would have to do more like guarding on which angle you slice your opponent.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. But I think you're gonna have to switch back and forth between styles to defeat certain enemies. Like, oh, here's a big guy, so I'm gonna have to use snake stance.
Yeah, that's very martial artist.
Yeah. So
having to change your stance depending on your opponent, on whether you want to favor defense or attack.
Yeah. Then they showed off some of the stealth mechanics in the Ghost style play, which is probably the way I'm going to play.
Yeah,
I like stealth stuff like that.
It reminded me of Batman, or the Arkham games.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing that I didn't like in this, which I know is kind of the story of this game, they were like, or you can take a more stealthy thing here and be a dishonorable ghost. Like, well, why do I have to be dishonorable? I don't want to be dishonorable.
That's the whole story.
I just want to be a ghost. But yeah, that's the whole story. You're supposed to be a samurai and get revenge on all of these people, but you are the one,
I don't know.
the lone survivor,
Yeah.
You are the ghost. Seems like you are kind of taking some dishonorable tactics.
Yeah.
That
I actually like that. Like, how do you want people to know you by? Do you want them to think of you as this hero or as this monster? And I really like that. But yeah, no, the combat, it really looked interesting, especially because to me, I really like stealth games, and the biggest reason why it reminded me of Batman was that you actually have more tools at your disposal while doing all this stuff. They showed off firecrackers. You had the bow. You had these like windpipes that would distract your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that it wasn't just go in and slice people.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah,
it looked good. That's sure. Next up, let's talk a little bit about the outfits and armor. It looks like there's gonna be a bunch of different outfits and stuff, and depending on what outfit you're wearing, it will kind of affect your stats or like how you play. So this outfit is geared towards someone who likes stealth, versus that outfit is geared towards someone that likes to be a honorable samurai.
Yeah, I don't see it being leaning that much into RPG. Like, for example, with AC Origins, each armor type or weapon type would give you different stats. I don't see it being like that. Maybe it will be more, it favors more stealth rather than it gives you X amount of boost to your stealth stat.
Well, it might. Like I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be like an in-depth thing of like, oh, this outfit has like +3 stealth and all these like extra stats and numbers and stuff like that. I think it'll just kind of be a general thing. I'm assuming those are gonna be upgradable, but I don't know. Of like, hey, if you found one that you like and you want to play that one, maybe you can upgrade it. So what I'm thinking is like maybe you can get a stealth suit or something at the start of the game, but as you progress and get other stealth suits, those ones might be slightly better. But it's not, like it's not going to make much of a difference, but it's still just like enough of like, well, maybe I like the one I got at the start, but this has a better stat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thing. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully for me, I would rather them not leaning too much into micromanaging stats.
Same here.
And rather just make it something more general.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
If it looks like they're streamlining as much of that as they can. There's the whole thing of like picking up resources and stuff like that. Like you did, like it looked like they didn't even have an animation for that. And instead, it was just like you hit the button and it collects it, which I'm fine with. Like you don't need to like micromanage stuff in that way. You can streamline it. That helps. But lastly, they said that they have a Japanese voice track as well as a cinematic mode, which is a black and white film grainy style that will look like a Kurosawa movie.
Yeah,
I think both of those things sound fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
I kind of want to play in the Japanese voice track. I don't know if I would like the cinematic mode. I feel like I would like it for a little while.
Yeah, it's like, always more of a novelty to me. Like maybe I'll tug it in for a couple of minutes. But at the end of the day, I don't have that, I don't know, love for black and white modes like so many other people seem to have. So it's cool that they have the cinematic black and white mode. but it's not something I will personally use. But I do find interesting that they added a Japanese voice track.
Yeah,
I think that it makes sense for the game, especially how
absolutely.
like ambient in Japan it is and how Japanese it is. It makes sense, and I do think that I will probably end up playing with a Japanese voice track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one last thing that I want to say about the cinematic mode, because it seemed like a major mode. I guess I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it that would make like environmental cues, like they would have to do something besides color to do that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where you have the like Uncharted thing where it's like, oh, the ledge is white, and climb on that one.
Yeah, I mean, probably
if it's in black and white, they can't rely on color.
Yeah, but probably what they would end up doing is that they will just make it brighter or wider.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not the way I play it, so whatever.
So, you guys should go check out that state of play if you have not already.
And what do you think of the state of play? Because it's something really new for Sony. They haven't really done these deep dives, especially using the state of play name. What do you think?
I like that they have it. I like that they're doing it. I like all the information that was revealed in this particular one. Mm-hmm. It did seem a little slow in that sense. Like they, well, I mean, not that I wanted things to move faster, but it was just very mellow. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I get why they did that. It's just an overview of the game, and they wanted to showcase these different things. And I mean, thematically, it would make sense with it for it to be slower, and what they did with it, I think.
Yes, I'm just thinking, more in the terms of like entertainment value. Like it wasn't very entertaining.
Sure.
If that makes sense. I think they could push that a little bit more. Like, don't go over the top, but it worked out fine.
Yeah, and it's their first time doing something like this, so I do expect them to maybe perfect it at some point.
They'll get there.
Yeah, but I mean, personally, I did really enjoy it. I think that Sony taking something like state of play and molding it into different things, like it doesn't have to mean one thing. It doesn't have to mean the showcases we've gotten where they show multiple games. It can be something that they can use for just one game and to go in depth into one game. And I really enjoyed the execution overall.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. Overall. Yeah. Moving on to number 3 in our stories. Oh,
before we move on,
one more thing.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk about this week in general for Sony. Okay. I think that Sony had a good week this year. Sony had a good week this week. I mean, even if, especially comparing it to what we got last week with Inside Xbox. Like, we even talked about how that last Inside Xbox was kind of like, I don't know, Microsoft throwing a bunch of missing. And I said that now it was a chance for Sony to, I don't know, counterattack, do something that will put them above. And I do think that we saw that this week, with especially with the showcase on Unreal Engine 5, because last week we didn't get much anything that looked next gen.
You're right.
And now Sony came out and showed something that really looked next gen. So I do think that Sony had a good week this week, and it was able to take advantage of how Microsoft dropped the ball. Yeah. And with Ghost of Tsushima just showcasing the power that Sony has with its whole stable of exclusives.
Yeah, when the demo first came on, that was the first thing that I tweeted out. I was like, "Holy moly! Now that looks next gen. That's looking fantastic." Yeah. So I mean, it looked like they had some kind of deal with PlayStation. We know that Unreal Engine will work on Xbox Series X and all that stuff, but it looked like they were kind of going out of their way to not say Xbox.
Well,
I think
yeah, no,
they
especially
said Xbox once.
well, especially since an interview came out later where they talked about whether or not Unreal Engine 5 is working with Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that it isn't work, or they haven't tried, or something like that with Xbox Series X. So in a way, they're making it sound like we are not worrying about Series X. We're worrying about the PS5, and we want it to work right there. And I thought that that was interesting.
That good,
Yeah.
good to know.
I mean, we all know that it has to work with the Series X, and we know that they must have tried. They actually must have tried with the Series X and have developed the Unreal Engine 5 with the Series X in mind. But I find it interesting that they came out and said, we're not worrying about the Series X. We are actually working on the PS5.
Yeah, because in the article that I pulled from up top, it says it will be supporting next gen consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get to it, but they were like, let's start on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, they'll get to it, but for now, we're just saying we're working on the PS5. But yeah, Sony had a good week this week.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Let's switch gears to Xbox a little bit. We got some news here from Xbox's Phil Spencer, who says that 2021's games are more likely to feel the impact of the pandemic. This is coming from an article on US Gamer written by Matthew Olson, who writes, in a Business Insider interview from last week, Spencer explains that games in the final stages of development have certain vital assets locked down, and that those planning to release about a year or more from now may not. Quote, through the summer, early fall, I feel pretty good about those games, says Spencer. Games that were targeting a year from now or beyond, there'll be some impact, but they'll be able to react. End quote. What do you think about this one, Ignacio?
Sadly, it is true. I mean, it makes sense that for this year they are okay because games coming out this year would probably be on their last stages of development.
Right.
But for whatever's coming next year, there's no way that they had enough ready, like mocap or orchestras or voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, and especially because next year would be the first of the next gen, so it will most probably impact next gen on their start. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah, it's like it's an interesting thing because I think we're gonna see similar things happen in all sorts of different industries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure we're gonna see it somehow impact the movie industry somehow, some way. I read a bunch of my comics digitally, and so I use apps like Marvel Unlimited and DC Universe. but both of those apps are 6 months to a year behind the newest comics. So they haven't really been affected yet of like, oh, no new books are coming out. So like I'm assuming in a month or two here there's going to be, it's like, okay, no more comics for 6 months on these apps. And it looks like a similar thing is happening to the games.
Yeah,
it's like,
no.
well, just kind of stuck here. There might be a year or so where it's like, well, there's not much happening.
Yeah. No, even for TV, in my case, like the TV shows I've watched, specifically the CW superhero shows, have been able to put out some shows lately in quarantine, but now they got to the point that they already got to where they had already filmed and they don't have even more. And they came out and said that the next seasons will probably start next year, when they usually start like towards the end of this year. And yeah, I expect it to be similar to what will happen with movies, because we'll just get to the point where no movies were able to film this year, so that means no movies will be able to come out next year.
Right.
And now this with video games, no games will be able to record mocap or in-person voice recordings or whatever equipment they need to be in a physical place outside. That means that they can't do it this year, which will affect them down the line.
Right.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Move on to number 4 though. Animal Crossing is the best-selling Switch game in Japan. This is coming from James Batchelor at gamesindustry.biz, who writes, Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold just shy of 3.9 million copies in its home market of Japan. That makes it the best-selling game of all time on Nintendo Switch, passing previous record holder Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and its lifetime sales of 3.7 million. That's according to Famitsu's monthly sales data provided to gamingindustry.biz, which shows Animal Crossing was the best-selling game in April with 1.29 million copies sold.
Animal Crossing is having a great time right now.
They are killing the game.
Yeah,
right, they had a thing last week that I think we kind of touched on. We kind of mentioned they sold 11 million copies in 11 days. That's a million copies a day.
Yep.
Holy moly.
That's wild.
That is insane.
And
and now in Japan specifically, it is the highest selling Switch game of all time. Good on them.
Good on them. I mean, it makes sense why the game is making so much money, because now everyone's stuck inside and fewer games have been able to come out. So in a way, it has been the perfect storm for New Horizons, in a way. However messed up that is, but I mean, it's true.
You also know that Animal Crossing has been banned in China. Did you hear that?
Not that I remember.
It was like 2 weeks ago, I think. They banned it in China because a bunch of people were staging protests, like pre-Hong Kong stuff in Animal Crossing. And they did not like that, so they were like, all right.
No, they didn't.
No Animal Crossing for anyone. And then I think the week after that, they banned all online video games. Like, all right, you guys can no longer play online.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a totalitarianistic regime in charge.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Crossing is still coming out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speaking of some other big plans, let's talk about Ubisoft. Their like fourth quarter earnings call type of thing.
Fourth?
They're for their like fiscal year. Let me open up this.
Yeah, it would make sense then. Yeah.
So I didn't pull the top of the article, but let me read that anyways. A rocky year of delays and lowered revenues for Ubisoft is finally over, with the publisher releasing its Q4 and full year financial results today, while looking ahead to a more promising release date, or release slate. And this is also coming from Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz. They go on to write what I thought was the interesting piece, the interesting tidbit. Ubisoft is currently planning to release 5 AAA titles: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and one more unannounced franchise. 3 of those, including Assassin's Creed, are planned for Q3, while the other 2 are planned for Q4. That means we're going to be getting them kind of end of this year, early next year.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. I thought this was the interesting tidbit out of this thing. I guess if you want to know the numbers, Ubisoft is kind of down 7% for their Q4 fiscal, and down 38% year over year for their net bookings.
Yeah,
so,
no, it makes sense.
Makes sense. Because they delayed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, and 2019 wasn't a good year for them. Like, they released fewer big games than usual, and even then, like, they had stuff like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which people didn't like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2019 was like a down year for them.
But I think end of 2020, early 2021, we're going to see a lot of Ubisoft titles.
Yeah.
What do you
I don't know
think?
how much about 2020 necessarily.
Well, I mean, we're getting Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It said 3 of these are planned for Q3.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see about that, and especially in the scenario where next gen gets delayed till next year. Like, Ubisoft has come out saying that if the console releases get delayed, games will get delayed. For example, Watch Dogs Legion, I think, is one of those games.
Yeah,
so I don't know. We'll see how it ends up being.
I would imagine Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and Gods and Monsters are maybe the ones that they were hoping to release by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. I think Assassin's Creed is a lockdown. Like, they will get it out this year.
Coming out, yeah.
But as for Watch Dogs and Gods and Monsters, I do think that maybe it's more up in the air depending on the next gen consoles. Yeah. And Rainbow Six Quarantine, we'll see about that one because of the name itself.
Exactly. But what do you think this unannounced franchise is?
It could be anything. I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, I would, for me, if you told me which franchise do you want it to be, I would say Splinter Cell. I love stealth games, and I think that a Splinter Cell game now would be great. It would be better than what came before. But other than that, it could be many things. It could be Rayman, which I think has a big chance of being. It could be Prince of Persia, which I don't think it's very likely.
Could be a
Or it could
sequel to
be
Mario Rabbids.
could be that. Could be just another Just Dance.
Yeah.
It could be that.
Well, they call it a AAA title. I don't
know.
I don't know if you can
I don't know
really
if they-
say Just Dance is a AAA title. I guess it is because it still kind of sells on
it sells a lot.
everything, right?
Yeah, that's
But
where it gets.
I don't know. But yeah, if it was up to me, I absolutely would want a new Splinter Cell. They've been teasing it a lot this past year or two. So I want it. I want to say that that's the one, but I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying for years that a new Splinter Cell game will come out, and it hasn't happened yet. So I want to get my hopes up.
They keep teasing it,
and they keep doing nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
Fans are. We have it rough. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about some live streaming. This was a story that I saw watching in Inside Gaming video. They covered the story.
Yeah, I didn't know about this.
Baffled. I was like, this is wild. So apparently this past week or so, Stream Elements released a kind of State of the Union for streaming, a state of play, how to speak. And this covered a bunch of numbers of like, hey, what are the numbers for live streaming? How many people are using Twitch? How many people are using X? All of that stuff. And it was really fascinating because they had, so in total, the industry growth over the past year has been 99%.
That's overall,
which is incredible. And that is from April 2019 to April 2020. In April 2019, total number of hours watched on any streaming platform, or at least these like top 4, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Mixer, the hours watched was 1.971 billion. And then in April 2020, it was 3.934 billion. Again, that's a 99% increase. That's wild. So for Twitch specifically, April 2019 was 750 million hours watched. In April 2020, 1.491 billion.
Yeah, and it has the asterisk that it's just gaming. Doesn't include just chatting, music, and everything that's not gaming.
Right, yeah. And so that was a 98% growth on Twitch. Amazing work, right? Except we have
huge
YouTube
numbers.
Gaming, which in April 2019 was 279 million, and in April 2020 was 461 million. That is 65% growth. Let's move on to Facebook here. In April 2019 was 86 million, and in April 2020 was 291 million. That's 238% growth. I hate Facebook, but holy cow, that's a lot.
I mean, I don't even ever think about Facebook gaming.
Yeah, I don't. But then here's the kicker. Here's the wild one. Mixer in April 2019 had 37
Yeah.
No. Well,
No,
yeah.
it can't be 37,000 million. It's a gamma.
37,000 million. It was
No,
37.
37.044 million.
Yeah, there you go. And then in April 2020 was 37.106 million, equaling to be a
Jesus.
0.2% growth.
Jesus.
So my question to you, Ignacio, is Mixer dead?
I mean, was it dead before? I think it is exactly the same pace it was. It has always been like just there.
I mean, it's been steady. It's been just there. And then in the report that they published, they did something for they had the numbers up for March, I believe, as well. Let me see if I can pull those up.
But yeah,
well,
no, this is
from March
incredible.
2020 to April 2020, they grew 15%. But over a year, 0.02. So
that's nothing.
They've been fairly steady.
No, and what's even more mind blowing is that, if I'm not mistaken, they got Ninja after April.
Yes. So they signed
So that
Ninja
did nothing.
to an exclusive contract. They got Shroud on an exclusive contract.
And that
Ninja
did
has
nothing.
a fraction of his following that he had on Twitch, and the numbers have not gone up. Now, Microsoft, similar to Google, kind of has a track record for not really sticking with everything that they put out there. You all know how a Windows phone worked out.
I mean, that,
or Zune.
Yeah, that lasted some. Yeah, sure. I mean, that those at least lasted some years. But I don't know. I mean, for Mixer, it felt like Microsoft was actually trying to make it something. Mixer has been, I think, for years now. And then last year they came out buying rights to all these streamers. Like, it really felt like they were trying to make Mixer a real competitor to the other platforms. But yeah, that did nothing.
It seems like it hasn't done much, and I don't necessarily think they're dead yet. But I don't think this is the numbers that they're looking for. We still have some time. Like we still might give it a year or two to see what happens. But that's I was like, holy moly! I was not expecting.
Yeah, and I mean, I hadn't even heard of this story before you brought it up.
Yeah,
so wild.
It seems to be kind of underreported. But it's an interesting story, at least. Facebook, 238%.
Who uses Facebook for gaming?
So the thing is, you mentioned that for Twitch specifically, it has an asterisk that has the this number is only for gaming, and then it has a second number for everything, right? Facebook doesn't have that asterisk. So this is not, well, I would say it's not only gaming, but then it's right in the title there. It's Facebook Gaming.
Yeah. I mean, I do sometimes see Facebook suggesting me people streaming games on their platform.
They when Mixer signed Ninja and Shroud, YouTube signed some people, and then Facebook started signing people too. And then I think Twitch signed a couple. And I also know that there were some people that left Mixer after they were getting Ninja and stuff like that, because they said that on the back end they seemed like they had changed. like they were not as supportive. They didn't seem as focused on these smaller creators, and now that they had Ninja, like, well, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Ninja was supposed to be their secret weapon against all these other platforms.
Interesting stuff.
Yep.
But that about wraps us up for our major news stories. Let's get on to our new and notable section. Jingle worked on that one.
Yay.
There we go. First up, Paper Mario, the Origami King, is available on Switch July 17th. Did you get to see the trailer?
Yeah. It is interesting because, like, before that announcement, we didn't know much about what was next for Nintendo.
Right.
Like, Nintendo has been quiet all this year. And, I mean, at most, we knew Xenoblade was coming out soon. Mm-hmm. But other than that, we didn't know anything. Nintendo didn't hold a proper direct this year. So, yeah, it is interesting that they just came out randomly one day and showed this new Paper Mario, which was rumored. But yeah, they announced it, and it's supposed to release on July 17, which is just a couple of months.
Yeah, it's very soon. It is the same day that Ghost of Tsushima is coming out. So we're going to have a lot to play if we are interested in both of those. I know I am. I haven't played Paper Mario in a long time.
I haven't played it ever.
But I know that the last two Paper Mario games people didn't like. So we'll see what this one does. They had an interesting looking combat system that people are kind of confused on.
Yeah, because it looked like something a combat revolving around circles.
Yeah. It sounds like it's gonna be this like circular puzzle like combat where the enemies are on the like you're on a platform in the center, and then there's like concentric circles going out of that can rotate, and it looks like the object of the combat is to line up as many enemies as you can to do the most damage. So instead of only damaging one bad guy, you can like line them up and attack them all that way.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Confusing, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I bet when it comes out and we get to play it, it won't be that confusing. I think because now we've only seen maybe 2-3 seconds of it. We don't get it as much.
Yeah.
But maybe I think when it comes out, we'll get it. But what I think is most interesting here is that since Paper Mario is a thing, a new Paper Mario is a thing, that probably means that the rumor of all these old 3D Mario games coming to Switch is real, because those two rumors came together.
Yeah.
And that's pretty exciting.
Is exciting indeed. I hope it happens. I hope they do somehow get to make a direct, be like, hey, it's Mario's 35th birthday.
Yeah.
There's all these old games that you know and love, because that would be amazing. Next up, Mafia Trilogy Remastered has been announced. 2K hinted at another announcement for May 19th. Ignacio, have you played the Mafia games?
I've only played 3. And even then, I didn't play it all the way through because I ended up getting bored with it. It felt just too repetitive.
I gotcha. I haven't played any of them, but these ones are kind of like GTA clones, right?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that they're pretty well received. and I know that people like them, and so that's why when this like announcement trailer dropped, a lot of people were excited about that, and I like it looked really good.
Yeah, it looked so pretty.
I've never played them. That might be something I eventually check out.
Yeah,
things. So.
I mean, and what got me more excited to play them was that they came out and said that it won't be just an uprest version. It will be kind of more like not even a remaster, but a remake in a way.
Yeah,
that's more like what they said. It won't just be newer textures; they will be changing stuff up. And
sounds like it's going to be more of the like Resident Evil style of.
And it looks so pretty. The one shot we got, it looks so pretty.
Yeah. So, next up, What the Golf is coming to Switch on May 21st. This was one of the launch titles for Apple Arcade, and a lot of people loved it.
It's a pretty good game.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
I think it was on Mick's top 10 list, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? Did he play it?
I don't remember. Mick loved it.
He did?
I remember that, yeah.
I mean, I remember I talked about it. I don't remember if he did.
Maybe I'm mixing things up?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, What the Golf is a really fun game, but I don't see how they will translate it into a Switch because What the Golf was so dependent on a touch screen. And granted, the Switch has a touch screen, but you have to guess that they had to make it playable on docked mode.
Probably.
So I wonder how they'll do that. But yeah, I mean, the other problem I have is that I saw the price, and I thought it was a bit too expensive.
I didn't have the price written down. How much was that?
It was at least 20, if not more. Yeah, you can get that on Apple Arcade for like $5-6.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it still on Apple Arcade?
No, I don't know.
If it is, then yeah, just get it on your phone.
Yeah, if you have the option, I would say get it on the phone with Apple Arcade. It will probably play better like that.
There you go. That's what we have this week for new and notable. Let's get on to our last section of the podcast and do our upper runners. Number one on our upper runners, Arnold's character from The Predator is coming to Predator Hunting Grounds LC. He played a character named Dutch.
Yeah.
Be making an appearance in that game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they actually got Arnold to record new stuff for the game. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Chopper.
Yeah, and what's interesting about it is that it's going to be kind of like story DLC, but the problem there is that the game doesn't have a story at all. So what I got was that apparently they will introduce kind of like voice recordings for his character. This is supposed to be his character set after the movie. Okay. So apparently you'll get to unlock some of his voice recordings. So you get the story like that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
What Dutch has been up to since the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never watched the movie, but yeah, that's apparently what it will be. And I thought it was pretty cool that they got Arnold to do new stuff for it.
You're gonna have to watch the movie now that you like the game.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking of watching it. I just don't know when. Maybe tonight. Maybe in a couple of months. I don't know.
Proud.
Nick
Scarpino would be proud.
Yeah, he would.
Let's see. Smash Bros. Ultimate is not gonna be at Evo this year due to online performance issues.
Those cowards.
I mean, so
Cowards, I tell you.
I think it was last week we talked about Evo going all digital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for obvious
And yeah,
reasons.
because of that, they were like, well, sorry, no Smash Bros. Ultimate because Nintendo, your net code sucks. Sorry.
I really wanted to see them try. Would have been so funny to
I
see
mean,
professional Smash players having to deal with the online of the game. Would have been
I
so fun.
really I mean, I know there's been some kind of pushback from Nintendo of them being like, we don't really want Smash Bros. To be like a tournament game thing. Like they didn't like.
Don't they though?
I mean, they do and they don't. Like I know they for a long time didn't like people making money.
Yeah, but
off of it.
I mean, Melee has been an Evo Classic for years now, and
Yeah,
then
but they didn't
Smash
like
and
it. Like Nintendo didn't like that they were doing that.
I mean, that sounds more like, hey, if you don't want us, we don't want you.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, Nintendo just has terrible net code.
Yeah.
They're years behind. And it's
unfortunately, yeah.
It's crazy because if they do an upgraded version of the Switch, which has been rumored for a long time, if they don't fix that, I don't.
They won't. They won't.
I mean,
don't get your hopes up. They won't.
I'm not getting my hopes up, but still, if they don't, what does that say about future consoles down the road? Like, I know Nintendo usually does their own thing, but they have kind of been dragged kicking and screaming to this whole
Nintendo has been dragged
thing.
kicking and screaming since the Wii. Nothing's gonna change. They have no shame.
I'll be honest, that kind of makes me want to not buy their stuff.
But won't you? Will you really not buy it? That's what it comes down at the end of the day.
I want Zelda. I want Mario. I'm going
you're not
get
there
it.
for their online.
But it's just
who's kidding them? Let's not kid ourselves. We're not there for the online.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like they have games that would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
And it still just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Stupid. Moving on to something else that can potentially be very stupid. A live action Kingdom Hearts TV show is reportedly in development for Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'll say that when it happens. I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking this one with a grain of salt. But really, live action? Why not animated? This would have been perfect for an animated.
We gotta get a realistic Donald Duck.
No. Yeah. No. Animation.
Yeah. I mean, I think even the story was blown out of proportion. There was nothing concrete to actually suggest that this is actually a thing. I think I read something somewhere of someone actually talking about it and saying that they were just blowing a statement out of proportion.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something.
This won't happen
like that, but
it won't happen.
Reportedly.
No, because I mean, if they do a live action Kingdom Hearts game, it does mean that they would have to do live action versions of their Disney properties.
Yeah.
And I doubt Disney will do that.
I'm saying animated. You don't need to do it.
Either way, they won't.
I don't. But still. Last but not least, Respawn's boss, Vince Zampella, says there are no Titanfall games in the works. An interesting one, because this kind of contradicts previous statements. So maybe it implies that the Titanfall game that was hinted at, that was rumored, was canceled.
There a game rumor?
There was some stuff that was rumored that they were working on stuff, but it was nothing concrete.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any talk about Titanfall 3.
It was a while ago. It was like a year ago or so.
Yeah.
On silent since then.
I mean,
that being
you
said,
have to guess. Oh, go. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I mean that you have to guess that they have their hands full with Apex and also with the development of the next Jedi Fallen Order game.
Exactly. However, well, they also have that. I think they were also working on a VR game, a VR Medal of Honor.
Was that Respawn?
I think it was.
I remember there being a VR Medal of Honor game. I don't remember that being them.
Could be wrong, but
let me check
also
it.
take this with a grain of salt. Because Apex is so popular, they said there's no Titanfall games in development. I'm wondering if they try and capitalize off of the popularity of Apex, change the title a bit.
Oh, you think that they would not, instead of doing a Titanfall game, they would do Apex colon something?
Potentially, because it's become so popular, and that is the one that kind of took off. I mean, Titanfall 2 was amazing. And a lot of people say that it was one of the best first-person shooters of the generation.
Yeah.
But it still, like, it didn't do well. Like, it kind of got cannibalized.
Yeah.
That, it was just...
It was released in between of a sandwich of games.
Right, exactly. But because Apex was so popular, maybe they kind of shift... Maybe they kind of shift gears and just go with the Apex name.
Yeah,
who knows?
Maybe they could.
Speculation.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. It is Respawn doing the Medal of Honor game. Yeah, so I'm guessing they have their hands full right now.
Indeed. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Sense. But that about wraps us up for all of that stuff. So Ignacio, what are you looking forward to playing this week?
Hopefully more HC Origins. I do want to get to newer stuff. I still haven't gotten to a place where I wasn't before. So I'm looking forward to it and looking forward for more story to get to the story that everyone talks about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to playing more Final Fantasy VII.
Cool. Good stuff. I downloaded.
Will you finally beat Resident Evil 7?
That is my
7 too.
Goal. To beat Resident Evil 2. But I also did finally download Shadow of the Colossus. I know I mentioned that last week as well. I never got to it, so hopefully this week.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Shadow of the Colossus.
Well, Ignacio, where can they find you on the internet?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJSB. That's my name.
You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the Whatnauts on Twitter if you guys want to follow us there. Updates on all of our podcasts and such. Go like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. I think we're at 69 followers on YouTube.
Nice.
And as nice as that is, let's bump that up past 70. Can we make that happen? Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that would be amazing. But that being said, this has been episode 26. Oh, you know what? Last thing. last thing we should say on the podcast is that we are looking for a new host for the show. You guys may have noticed that Mick has not been on the show with us for a long time. We are hoping to get him back on the show for like a final thing so he can say his goodbyes and stuff like that. But he had a lot on his plate, so he stepped down from podcasting. That's kind of why we haven't mentioned things. We were hoping to get him back on here sooner, but it hasn't happened. So we will let you guys know down the road if and when that happens. But I would love to have some new hosts, some new people join us on this podcast. At least one more person. But if you guys are interested, if you are a podcaster and you have experience podcasting or are very serious about starting, let us know and we can talk and hopefully we can get you crossplay.
Yeah.
So, but that, I think, finally wraps us up. This has been episode 26 of Crossplay. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you guys also think that I am very, very slow at playing Resident Evil 2, let us know in the comments down below, and you guys can shame me all you want. I don't know. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel right up here in that corner. That would help us out a ton. And go watch one of our other videos right down here in that corner, because we got plenty more podcasts for you to check out. That being said, we will see you guys next time. Bye.